Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTGO Traders. My name is Taryn, and we've got more modern staples, Guildgates, and so much more. Let's jump right into it. Just like yesterday, we have a large set of cards to get through, so let's do it. But first, I want to hit some cards that we missed from yesterday. Starting with March of the Multitudes, X and 3 mana instant with Convoke. Create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. I really like this card, but not at Mythic, honestly. It's fun for limited and draft, but I'm not so sure yet about the application in Standard. We need more token production cards at cheaper slots for me to think this card is good. At most, this is an opponent's in phase making 3 1/1s, which could be good, but not great. I'll keep an eye on this, and I hope it gets better as the set is released. Next up, we have a Mana Source exclusive. Before I jump into the card though, I just want to say seeing Mana Source up and at him again, posting videos and content, makes me proud, man. I love you. But moving on to the card, we have Ionize Thousand-Eyed is a 6 mana 2/3 with Undergrowth. When it enters the battlefield, you get X 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens for each creature in your graveyard. It also has a pay 2 mana sack a creature, gain life, and draw a card. This has Brawl and Commander written all over it. But I also think it might be super useful with a creature heavy deck in Standard too. So many Surveil mechanics going around, along with Stitcher Supplier being a card right now, and I think this might be making it to a top-end go-wide bomb. While it doesn't win the game immediately, going wide, creating card advantage and life is pretty important. Alright, now that we're caught up with those cards, let's hit today's previews. And we're starting off with Blade Instructor, a 3 mana 3/1 human soldier with Mentor. Stop! Why are all these Mentor cards so bad so far? Why? This is a worse Raptor Companion in Draft and Sealed. If it attacks with something weaker, it's going to trade with something and make a 2/2, I guess. That just feels really bad though, especially when you need to attack to make this mechanic work. Just not a fan of it right now. But next is Artful Takedown, a sweet blowout combat trick that taps a creature and weakens another, or potentially killing it too. Love this card. This makes Dimir very aggressive in Draft and Sealed, and that's a good thing for me because I love Dimir cards. Also really enjoying the Batman-esque aesthetic of this card so far too. Another common this time is a land. Gateway Plaza is a land gate that enters the battlefield tapped. You have to sack it unless you pay 1 colorless mana, but you can tap for whatever mana after that. Rupture Spire is back in Draft and Sealed. That's fine. Love this card, and I think it's a last-minute mana fixer for you in Draft and Sealed. It does put you a turn behind on 1 mana for a turn, but I think that's worth it since you can tap for any kind of mana for this card. And the rest of the commons today are the Guildgates. Yes, those are back with alternate art. They actually get 2 different Guildgate cards each. That's pretty nice. I really do like the art on each of these cards, and I really can't think of a better way of returning to Ravnica than with Guildgates. And since we've got Guildgates back, we've got Guildgate Matter cards once again. Guild Summit is a 3 mana enchantment where, when it enters a battlefield, you may tap any number of untapped gates you control. Draw a card for each gate tapped this way. Also, whenever a gate enters a battlefield under your control, you get to draw a card. I really like this in Draft, but I think it might actually see more play like in Brawl or Standard than anywhere else. While I don't think it's necessarily super powerful, I do think playing 2 to 3 Guildgates in Draft or Standard might set this card up as a worth it style card for the card advantage. But moving on to another Gate Matters card, we've got District Guide, a 3 mana 2/2 Elf Scout that has an enter the battlefield effect of searching for a gate or basic land. Nice. A 3 mana 2/2 that hunts for a land is very good in Draft and Sealed, and I'm excited to play this into a ramp deck to ramp into bigger threats. Might see some Standard play in an elf deck as well. But next up we have an Eternal staple, meet Goblin Cratermaker, a 2 mana 2/2 Goblin Warrior with pay 1, sack it, choose 1. It can either deal 2 points of damage to a creature or destroy target colorless non-land permanent. Wow. So Ugin versus this Gobbo? Bye-bye Ugin. While this card will probably not see as much play in Standard, I think Modern and even Legacy will find this card absolutely amazing. This deals with Karn, any artifact ever, and Eldrazi that aren't indestructible. Love this card a ton. But moving on to another card that was previewed by a friend, Pleasant Kenobi, on his channel. I recommend you go watch that since he reverse eats a cake. That makes more sense if you watch the video. This is Chemister's Insight, a 4 mana instant with draw 2 cards and jumpstart. Well, say hello to the new Glimmer of Genius replacement. While it's not as good as Glimmer of Genius since you can't scry, you can draw 4 cards and lose 1 for 8 mana, so that's okay, I guess. In all seriousness, no, I think this card is going to slot nicely into the hold that Glimmer will have left once it rotates out in October. Props to WotC for making me like a jumpstart card right now. Alright, moving on to the rares for the day, and we've got Runaway Steamkin, a 2 mana 1/1 elemental that says whenever you cast a red spell, if Runaway Steamkin has fewer than 3 +1/+1 counters on it, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's crazy. You can also remove 3 counters from it and add 3 red mana to your mana pool. Holy cow, this card is great. Standard just got a new card for mono red aggro and might even have a new card for combo decks in Modern as well. It gets larger and smaller while also adding mana. I'm really enjoying this card. Also, a 4/4 for 2 is also super good as well. And while the mana generation might be my favorite part about the card, a turn 3 4/4 would be hard to deal with in Standard in a mono red aggro strategy. Next up is another card I think will have multi-format appeal. Ionize is a 3-mana instant, counter target spell. It deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. Well, hello, better mind swipe. This card is bonkers good. Not only does it make Izzet control a thing in Draft and Sealed, it also makes Standard and even Jeskai control a thing in Modern. I love this card. 3-mana counters are the sweet spot, and getting a burn upside is basically the best thing ever for Izzet. Counter burn is back in town, and I can't wait to slot this into my Izzet control deck, or maybe even an Izzet Wizards deck in Standard. Next up, we have another Boros card. This is Deafening Clarion, a 3-mana modular spell that lets you choose one or both. It deals 3 damage to each creature and can also give creatures you control lifelink until end of turn. Well, Sweltering Suns is still around thanks to this, and I think it's just okay, but it can't be slotted into a control deck unless you're kind of going the Jeskai route. So we'll kind of see if this sweeper is actually useful and constructed or not. I do think it's probably fine for Draft and Limited, and I think the lifelink ability means you get great gains if your creatures survive the sweep. And the last card for today is a doozy to read through. This is Nullhide Ferox. It's a 4-mana 6/6 hexproof mythic that says you can't cast non-creature spells. What? It also has pay 2 colorless, where Nullhide Ferox loses all abilities until end of turn, and any player may activate this ability? What? Also, more stuff here. Also, if a spell or an ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, put it onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your graveyard. This card is all over the place. A 6/6 hexproof for 4 is legit insane, but turning off hexproof for 2 still doesn't really remove it, so your opponent still needs to pay 2, then pay like a base amount for like their removal spell, which is still ridiculous to remove a 6/6. It also has like anti-discard outlet as well built into it, which means that like if your opponent's doing that, it just comes on the battlefield by itself. This is crazy. I mean, it's still a 4-mana 6/6 with hexproof that needs 4 mana to be Assassin's Trophy, and that's basically it. This is essentially making your opponent's spells cost 2 colorless more, but it also turns off your non-creature spells as well, so you have to pay the toll as well if you want to play instant and sorceries and so on. I do think this card is really powerful though, but it's kind of awkward and strange. Will it see play? Highly likely in mono green Stompy, or that deck is already bursting at the seams. Stompy has so many toys right now, it's kind of baffling. Such a bonkers card. Unreal. But that is all the previews for today I have for you. Let me know what your favorite card is in the comments down below. Do you think Nullhide Ferox is okay, or do you like Ionize instead? I think we got a ton of great stuff today, and if you haven't pre-ordered your box yet, you might want to. Those prices might start to go up thanks to all the cards we're seeing in the set. It's so hype right now. All right, that is it for me. Like it if you like it. Share this video around. I want to see this community grow as best it can, but I need your help to do that, guys. Thank you so much. I love you all. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome MTG content just like this, and make sure to tap the bell icon to be notified whenever a video is made live. If you want to keep watching content, here are 2 more videos for you. This video and many others are sponsored by MTGO Traders and Cape Fear Games. Buy and sell digital singles to build your online collection today with MTGO Traders, and get your paper singles, accessories, and much more from Cape Fear Games. Whatever your Magic needs, both places have you covered.